For the rest of the slides, we're just going to talk about some of the common questions that we get when it comes to working with headers and footers in Report Writer. So one of the questions we get is, how can I have a first page different from the rest? This I can think of something like a cover page to a report. Well, what you can do is you can have a first page header set up. You may pass information in that first page header, but you insert an additional page root into that first page header with a mini page where the size is equal to max. That means that first page header is going to print out and take up all of the first page so that by the time you get to the second page, you can start processing your report. Another question we typically get is, how do I can display a message when the detail continues on another page and we don't have a total ready to print on this page? And the solution to this is you're going to place a continued message in the page footer so that it appears in the exact same position as the total will appear if it's there to print. And then if the total is printed, it ends up overwriting the continued message. So to see this, here's an example. I can have my footer drawn out there. On this footer, I'm saying that it's a layout node where I have continued, and here is space and some text that would probably say continued ... You'll notice in the footer, my X size is max, so it's taking up the max, and the Y size is at 20 millimeters. Farther down under that page root, we have the box total. And so here's my report total printing out. I don't want to have continued on the last page. It's the last page. I just want to print the report total. So I'm putting another layout node out there. This layout node is going to just have the report total with a label in front of it. It's being positioned at the max minus 20 millimeter. And so if we're at the end of the report, if we're printing out that total, this box is going to end up overwriting the box continued because they're both going to fall in the same place. The last thing I want to talk about is this item separator as your section property. Now, an item separator positions itself between each sibling in the same node. And its purpose, it was designed to add space for sibling items that are aligned vertically. For example, and we'll see this, the list report spacer is a word box with the item separator set for its section value, and the text value is a single space. It can also be used to add a horizontal line for siblings aligned horizontally. But let's go ahead and take a look, because we've seen this before, of adding a space for sibling items aligned vertically. Back on my list report, one of the things that came out with the template was my table row, and inside of this table row, we started with that spacer. And if I increase the size here a bit, you can see we always had this little spacer here. And the spacer, now that I know what I'm looking for, if I go down to my section property, I can see it's an item separator. And that doesn't mean that this space is going to appear at the front of the row. Instead, it means that between each of these items, it's going to place an item separator. And that item separator is going to be whatever I've defined for that spacer inside the text property. And here you can see I've defined it as a single space.